Good morning, happy Friday. Riley and I are just on anchor and I thought I'd make a movie for you guys because I've got nothing else to do today. I don't even know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try and dig up some, probably do some jobs actually, and maybe chill out for the afternoon. Oh, hello.
How's it going?
You look better in my hat than what I do. That hat doesn't suit me.
Nah.
Nah, actually it doesn't really suit you either.
It's just been lying around, so I thought I would don it.
So what are you up to today? I can tell what you're going to do. Podcasts and books and...
Millions of dollars up for grabs.
I like it. I think I'm going to clean the windows.
Alright. I have to compile a list of jobs. I have to continue with my list of jobs that I need to do when we get to the US.
Okay.
Basically.
So you're going to write a list of jobs?
I need to ponder.
Oh, okay.
Tension rife with the commotion, disaster and devotion. Flames dance down the water top, but the fire wouldn't drink a drop, and the smoke from under coals.
Little sparrow in the winter, darling.
Oh my gosh, that was not supposed to happen. So it was just sort of pouring down with rain outside, so I decided that this is where my chilled out afternoon is going to start. Riley's outside cleaning the boat, he's just scrubbing it. It's always good to scrub it when there's some fresh water. And I'm just listening to my Audible book. I just put a post up on Facebook asking you guys some questions. I was thinking that Riley and I could do a Q&A today while it rains. I still have to ask him when he comes inside. So hang around and we're going to do a Q&A for you guys. But in the meantime, this episode was actually brought to you by Audible, who we're stoked to be working with because we really love reading, and if we can encourage others to read, then that makes us pretty happy. So Riley and I are constantly trying to learn something new on the boat. It just time just seems to go so quickly when you're on the move, and although I think traveling makes you wiser, I think you always need that brain stimulation, or we do anyway, so that's what we get from reading. Riley and I are into relatively different subjects when it comes to books. I like health and wellness and spirituality, and he's kind of more into I think I'll let him explain that. Riley!
Yo!
I'm filming. I just have a question for you.
Yeah?
I was wondering, what have you been listening to lately on Audible, and what are you feeling at the moment?
Artificial intelligence, I'd say, would be what I'm into at the moment.
Alright, do you want to give people a book recommendation?
I can give you 5. Just hang on a sec.
Alright, let's not overwhelm them with 5 recommendations, but I'm sure they'd appreciate one.
Rise of the Robots by Martin Ford, The Economic Singularity by Calum, Superintelligence, Paths, Dangers, and I can't see the last part of it, by Nick Bostrom, Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark, and How to Create a Mind by Ray Kurzweil. But I would go Ray Kurzweil's How to Create a Mind, or if you're really keen to delve right into it and you already know a little bit about it, then probably Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence, Paths, Dangers and Strategies would be my next one. But then Max Tegmark's Life 3.0 is probably my favourite.
Make up your mind. Where do people start if they don't know anything about AI?
But the other two aren't quite as good. But I'll put links to them all in the description below.
Alright.
So I think that it's certainly, in my humble opinion, the most interesting and probably the most important thing going on at the moment. And I think that, what did Max Tegmark say? He said, it's the most important conversation happening on planet Earth at the moment, and he would like to invite us all to take part in it. So I thought that was pretty good.
Well, thank you for that, Riley. So yeah, you guys can head over to our unique URL, which is www.audible.com/SLV, and Audible are giving you a free book with a 30-day free trial. which is pretty awesome. So you can, pick up that book or any other book that you might like. Just one more time, that URL is www.audible.com/SLV. And for anyone who's with us from the United States, you're also able to text our code SLV to 500 to get started. And that's all. Yes, Q&A. I still have to convince Riley, but it's happening. Success, ladies and gentlemen. The first one's actually from one of our patrons, Thomas, who's asking, you seem to be having quite a few problems with the vessel, especially considering it's new. The engine problems especially seem to be a worry to me. Is that normal?
So we've had a few problems recently. Actually, there's been quite a few comments about this under various videos that we've done. An important thing to remember is that all new boats have problems. We're very, very happy with how few problems we've had on this boat, and having spoken to other Ultramar owners as well, especially back in when we went to the Ultramar Cup and I asked everyone, hey guys,
honestly, tell me your thoughts.
Tell me before we launch into all of this, like what you think. And it was all extraordinarily superficial. The problems that they were having, like a wobbly chair or a cabinet, or like a little bit of ceiling like we had falling down, which you just glue and put back together again. The engines themselves have been
solid, good.
Yeah. The portside one was losing pressure in a fuel hose, which that problem just went away. And the control boxes, I mean, that's been a recognised problem, which has been rectified now. So all up, really what you want to be worrying about is the rigging, how it performs, how safe it feels in larger weather. And I mean, yeah, that's the important stuff, and the other stuff I don't even really acknowledge. It hasn't even been a problem.
Yeah, like all that comes to my head right now when I'm thinking about the problems with our boat. After we did our shakedown cruise, there was one cabinet that didn't stick and it flew open, which is not a huge deal. There was a drama with the engine control box, which was fixed. They sent out a new part to all owners of the engine that we have. So that's fixed.
That had problems with them.
Yeah, that had problems with them. So our engines are fine now. The other problems we've had are more so our fault, like fishing line around the prop, or like...
For those of you that are new to sailing and all that sort of stuff, there are important problems and then there are little problems. We've had even just minimal of the little problems, which you'll learn really don't matter at all. The more of them you can get and the less of the big ones, the better, because all boats are going to have problems. I have spoken to various owners of other boat brands, whom I won't name, and the list of problems on a new boat is often much, much more than a boat that's 2 years old. In fact, if you can get your hands on a 2-year-old boat from an owner, that would be brilliant. But I wouldn't recommend that with an Ultramar, because they are maintaining their price line. I think they're the same price 2 years old as they are new.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you can find a boat from someone that is a single person owner, like not running a charter, and oftentimes you'll find it's in better condition than it is brand new.
Totally, and they're honest too, like...
Your single owner.
Yeah. This is from Christopher L. Sarv. I've often wondered what to do when pirates attack. Technically, are you allowed to carry firearms for protection, or how does that work travelling country to country?
Okay.
The old pirate question, Christopher.
If it's not pirates, it's sharks. So I'd like to give a slightly tangential answer to that.
This is a tough one.
And so that's the first question that we get asked all the time. And I think that what Elayna and I try to do mainly is encourage people to go sailing. So because the odds of encountering that situation or the sharks or any of those things is so vanishingly small, I would much prefer to guide people to concentrate on the things which will happen, like how many things will break, how the sailboat work, like it's not going to make all of your dreams come true. Like it's just gonna, it's the hard work and the all of that sort of stuff is guaranteed.
It's much more of a thing to worry about than pirates.
Yeah, but those are the first hurdles that people sort of need to get over before they, like the this sort of stuff, the fear, the human beings like innate fear of the ocean because of Jaws or Moby Dick and that sort of stuff.
But to answer your question, like, there's only maybe 2 spots in the world where there's actual pirates, like organised piracy.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3. There's the odd attack, but that's, you're just really unlucky, and we don't feel the need to carry a firearm on our boat. But I think if you were to, you'd have to declare it each country you'd go to, and it'd be a nightmare. And if you got caught not declaring it, you'd probably go to jail, and I don't know, I think it can just do more harm than good, really. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we've got a video called "What Would You Do in Case of Pirate Attacks?"
Yeah.
And if you look at the comment section there,
get in the comment section of that
there
video.
is just
I'll link
there
that.
is a huge discussion on what guns people would recommend,
and would you take one or not?
How to get around customs, and there's a lot of nefarious advice there for everyone to rifle through.
This is from Kaylee Kesley. I've wondered if
Hello,
you guys...
Kaylee. Thanks for writing in.
I've wondered if you guys have any different plans for the far future, or if you just live in the moment. Plans for a different type of adventure, or to eventually settle on land? Sailing around the world for the rest of your life seems like the perfect situation, but I'd love to know your thoughts. Where do you see yourself in the future, darling?
Elayna and I have discussed this at length. At the moment, we both really miss our friends and family and feel, I'd say, quite disconnected.
Isolated.
From society at large, and definitely my mates. So that's something that we need to try and work around. We're just going to have to definitely spend some time back in Australia. We can't continue this life of seclusion.
Yeah.
It's just chipping away at me. We're like absolutely loving it, but yeah, so sort of what I was getting at was to make what we're doing more sustainable so that we can continue it in the future. We're going to have to be a bit more sensible with the amount of time that we spend back on land with friends and family back in Australia.
Yeah.
Because my poor old mum forgets what I look like.
Oh no, I feel so bad.
Well, she does watch the videos.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I forget what she looks like.
No,
that'd be a bit rude.
no.
You get my point though.
Yeah. We're trying to, yeah.
Oh, and then we've spoken about some sort of complex or a retreat or a holiday thing where we could teach people to sail and
like
have people come to stay with us
like
for
a
a bit.
Vagabond headquarters or something.
Lavaga HQ.
That'd be so cool, like just to set up like a little home base, but we're still technically not always tied there because we have the boat and we can go other places, but to have like a headquarters where we hang out for most of the year or something.
Yeah,
or something.
Or part of the year.
But that's all in it's pretty far off.
Distant future.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be something. What was this lady's name? Kaylee, that would be something that you and I could talk about at length if you were to come on board, because that discussion about what we could do in the future, I really enjoy having. Yeah,
yeah, so many ideas. Seriously,
it will certainly involve sailing, and we're happy doing what we're doing.
This is home, and this is life.
Okay, this is. Siri wants to get involved. This is John Hackett. You have now had a long trip on a monohull and now have had a long trip on a multi-hull. The question is, what do you prefer? As many of us out there like me cannot make up our minds for the next boat. Good honest answer, please. He's trying to circumvent the... it's very sneaky, John. I like it. Alright, Elayna.
Well, we've covered a lot of miles on both boats now, and I have very fond memories of the monohull, but honestly, if you struggle with sleeping like I do, I get a much better sleep on the multi-hull because of the stability and comfort levels. The monohull, I could never sleep in the forward cabin, not a chance, so I'd have to try and sleep in one of the back rooms, and even then the sleeping was just not happening. So there was that. People say that on the monohull you are closer to the ocean and you can really it feels like you're sailing more. To me, this boat feels like I'm sailing more, and you can still feel the weather and all of those things. You can feel the waves when they hit. I
think that multi-hull's got their reputation for lack of that feel from, I need to be careful here, different sort of multi-hulls, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Ultramar, you can still feel it, and it still points and does all of the things that you would expect from a sailboat.
But with more comfort, in my opinion. Like, I love my galley. I'm more, like, it's more social because the galley is up here and everyone's sitting up here or outside.
So infinitely more social.
Yeah, like, because on the old boat, everyone was sitting outside in the cockpit and I was inside cooking and cleaning, and so I never saw anyone, basically.
Much more romantic for people to watch, so I'm told.
Yeah, everyone loves
the
look of the old boat, but personally, we love this boat so much. It's our home. Everything's got a place. Like, my bed, I have proper bedding and I'm proud of it. Like, it's different. It doesn't feel like I'm camping so much.
It's
like,
much more practical for what we're doing.
Sorry. Oh, it's hot. This is from Carrie Thompson. You've kept your show classy. I can enjoy it with my daughter who's 10, as history and travel interests her. You always have fantastic historical facts when visiting a new place. Do you reach out to locals for hidden gems such as restaurants, things to do or see, or do you stick by the guides?
There's quite a bit to unpack there, Carrie. Thank you for your question. I'm glad that you and your daughter
hello
can
to your
watch.
daughter.
Yes, thanks for watching. We probably don't get into as much history as I'd like. That's really difficult. The times when we've done that, like, there's a lot to learn, which I enjoy, I love. But then delivering that information to you guys in a way that's
fun and not boring.
Or, you know, kind of interactive or like entertaining, that's an art, and we are working on it, but it's very difficult. But I mean, we're learning and we'll hopefully try and get better at that sort of stuff, because I love looking into the history of different places.
Yeah. So I think guidebooks are good, but if you can get to a place with a few other cruisers around, we definitely go and introduce ourselves and ask them, because they might have been there for a week, or some have been there for months and they know the joint quite well.
Yeah.
So getting information off people is way better.
I think that's a great point as well, Elayna, because then you're interacting with people and getting the information rather than looking through Wikipedia
and making
or
yourself more
TripAdvisor or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So you can learn stuff from the people that have just been there. And yeah, the cruises we get most of our information from. How do you visualise your lives when you're 50 years old and then 60? Many of us live vicariously through your adventures, realising the many dangers as well as mundane moments we all have in a day. You've kept your show classy and clean for all age groups. I commend you on that.
Who's that from?
Kenny Zaremba.
Where do I see myself when I'm 50 and 60? Oh my gosh. Living somewhere, I've been searching for the perfect place and I still haven't found it yet. I'm not sure if I ever will. But
Doesn't exist.
I don't think it exists. I think it's where, I know this sounds cheesy, but I think home is where your heart is. Really? I know, I said it sounds cheesy. And no matter how beautiful a place is, like, it can have palm trees and sunshine, clear water, like, it can be perfect.
I know a song.
And if I'm not feeling the vibe or the people aren't nice, or, I need to be around really good people, and it needs to all kind of align. So anyway, I would like...
Where are you going to be when you're 50?
I don't know. I really do love Australia. I'd like to go back to Australia with the boat.
How many kids are we going to have?
I don't know, I think I'd only be able to manage like 2 max.
2?
Yeah.
So we'll have 2 kids. They'll be probably 20.
Yeah. And it'd be nice to bring the boat back to Australia and probably go really slowly around Australia.
One of them will be a doctor.
Yeah.
And the other will be a freediving expert.
Mhm.
/ or working part-time for NASA.
Yeah.
Also playing for Australia, but not cheating.
Okay. So yeah, it's still a long way off. I'm not sure yet, but that's kind of... I feel like Australia, good people, going slowly, some children.
Bruce the Viking, and there's a photo of him just cutting through a gnarly surf here, so I know he's a good dude. If you were to start again buying a used yacht with what you know now and say 200 grand, would you do a big mono or a similar cat? My decision in the next few months. I'm coming to stalk you, lol.
I'd never sailed on a cat before this one, and I can't go back. I can't. It's so amazing. Like, looking back at all the times, just being uncomfortable, getting thrown around the room like in bad weather, and sometimes not even bad, just that constant movement. Maybe you can handle it if you like that. Some people do. Some people really love being rocked to sleep. Some people really love just the movement of a monohull, and I didn't know the difference when I first started, and I thought this was normal, and
I took you to some spots I shouldn't have.
It's
probably.
not normal. Try them out. I think that's all you can do. Like, jump on both and see if you like. I think the main thing is comfort. Like, if you're not comfortable, you're not going to enjoy your time on the boat. So the choice is yours.
I know I might chip in there as well, mate. So Elayna, because your experience is our old monohull and then this catamaran, that comparison is fairly unfair. Like,
Probably.
this is just, yeah, that's an unfair comparison. This is an infinitely superior vessel in every single aspect that there is, but it's also a lot more expensive than our old boat.
Yeah.
For the example there of 200 grand cat versus monohull, I don't know how many kids you've got, exactly what you want to do. Do you have a dog? Like, are you expecting to have guests all the time? Do you want to charter?
How long are you going for?
There's so many different things involved in that, which I'm actually typing up at the moment, a better answer to your question. I'm getting right into that.
That's going in our sale manual.
Yep. I don't want to get into different brand names, but what I'll say is that we enjoy the philosophy behind this boat, like the shape of it and the shape of the hulls basically, which is why it will sail quite well, and there's less stuff on board, but we enjoy a lot of the benefits that a monohull would. And I think if you could find yourself a catamaran like that in around that range, you're going to be doing pretty well, but that's perfection.
I think if we were to start the whole trip again, knowing what we know now, wouldn't you have just bought a catamaran big enough for the both of us that was light with like nothing on it apart from the essentials?
Probably this like old aluminium thing with nothing in it but a campfire.
I wouldn't do a campfire.
And like an Ingle fridge, and it just completely like nothing around, and then maybe like weld on some solar panels later on.
Just simple. All you need is simple and a good bed and a toilet. Not going off the back. Riley suggested this before.
That having no toilet, because there's less holes in the boat. So it's safer. There you go. I think that it's safer to not have toilets.
Safety first.
You can quote me on that. Safety third.